Hi, welcome to another video where we cover spots for gadgets on every ranked map. This time, deployable shield is our interest. So I want to show you some spots for deployable shields that are way more beneficial than just an ordinary shield placed just in a random spot. So as usual, we start with Organ. We are upstairs on the kids' dorm side, and we can place a pretty common shield facing the trophy door. You are not being seen from neither kids or double window. You can create the pixel with the shield on the trophy door, and if you place your shield far enough, you can peek the main breach. When you play an attic, you can place a shield in the upper part of it, and when attackers breach the big tower wall, you can have like some tight angles on them, and you have just more cover. You can as well defend the master push from trophy. So if you place your shield in trophy, you can have some tight angles on the master door. Just be aware of the upside down rappel. You can get even closer with your shield, so you can place it on the bed in master, and you can peek attackers entering master with a shotgun. Of course, the presence of Jäger or Wamai would be very helpful in that situation, but this applies to all of those shields, so why would I say it more than once? And now we're heading over to basement, where of course we have our one of the most famous shields in elbow. So the key part is you need to leave the gap for an ADS, and now you can peek attackers entering bunker from outside or just throw smokes at them, whatever, you know what to do. The other shield in basement would go on the table in laundry, so now you can rotate from the long hallway and peek the bottom main stairs from behind the shield when you're standing. And now with the kitchen dining side, you can place a shield on those bricks in small tower. Now you can somewhat slow down the push in small tower from the window and the doorway, but if they enter upstairs, just run away. Yes, I love elevated shields, so I need to place another one on the table, this time in dining. Now you can somewhat peek attackers coming from the small tower on the doorway, and you know, just another cover in this pretty open room. You can use your shield, for example, to defend the shower hallway. We're leaving a gap for an ADS, of course. We're sort of creating a pixel angle, and yeah. I usually open this wall between sides, so since it gets pretty open if you don't have castle on the doorway, you can place your shield right behind these rotations, so you can peek the doorway, peek the main breach, or throw smokes on the default plant. Our next map is Clubhouse, and we begin with a very known shield in CCTV. We leave a gap for an ADS, we can now contest the main breach, and we're not seen from the CC window. A shield on top of red stairs might seem a bit awkward, but we can achieve some tight angles on the cash door. We can feel a bit safer when we're moving on the stairs, and we can still rotate between cash and red if we place it correctly. On the basement side, we can place a shield on the table in church, so we can have additional cover when fighting with people coming from Moro or even blue. In bedroom, we can place a shield on the bed, so we have some cover from the bedroom window, and now we can stand by the construction doorway and peek it with a shotgun. By the main wall, we can have a shield facing gym, so the bandit that is stricken on the wall is protected from outside, and we can peek into gym. But my favorite shield on the gym bedroom side is the one by main stairs, so we have a pixel angle on the breach, and we can use it the other way when people are coming from lodgy, so we can peek from behind the shield on the lodgy door. And on the bar stage area we have this table in stage that is providing us an elevated shield spot. And it's time for Consulate, and we have a shield on the short desk, so we have some additional cover so we can peek attackers trying to jump in the windows into sight. We cannot forget, of course, about one of the well-known shields in Garage on this little box, so we have some elevated cover that we can peek the main breach from. A shield on pipes works quite good as well. We have some cover from people coming down yellow stairs, and we can sort of peek bottom spiral from it. Cafeteria is missing no shield as well. We have an elevated one on the table, so we have some more cover to peek the red door from. In piano lobby side, we need that shield facing the main doorway, so we can deny the entry from outside. Sure, there's this window in Anti, but it's just the nature of this site. In piano we can have another elevated shield when we place it on the table, and now we've built the only reliable cover to peek the doorway from yellow. Now we're on bank, and we've got the basement side where we extend into server and we defend the dirt entry with a shield right next to the rack. If we place it far enough, we can use the angle on the bottom blue stairs. If we want an elevated shield, we can only place it on the table in vault. Sure, usually this is a dead area, but if attackers come from the hatches, you can have a really good cover to pick them from. Upstairs we can surely defend the long hallway with a shield. We of course build a pixel angle with a shield, and this one can even go into stock if we open the wall, and if you open the window the pixel leads outside. Oh my god. In the hallway by stock we can sort of build ourselves a corner with a shield. We should probably reinforce the stock walls for our safety. And now we can peek the top square from behind the shield. Don't worry, I didn't forget, we've got an elevated shield on the long desk. So now we can peek the double doorway or the janitor rotate. Now we're on Kanal and we're placing a shield facing the main breach. So we can now play in control room. We can peek Skybridge, we can peek the main wall, but remember you can be sort of seen from outside from the window. When you play on top of green stairs you can have some additional cover, so you can have a little pixel on the 90, so you can easily peek attackers jumping from the green window or just coming from the red side. You can peek bottom of green stairs when you have this cover. On the kayak side I use this shield very often. You can defend the long hallway with it. You can peek attackers coming from trench, from main stairs. You can see the hatch drop in supply. You can always see if there's anyone jumping in lockers from outside the window, and if there's anyone pushing scuba you can just quickly rotate there and hold an angle there. In the map room you can place a shield on top of this table, and it nicely covers you from the kitchen doorway when you're in projector room. And last one on Kanal, we've got another shield on the table, this time in meeting room. We're going over to Chalet now, and we start off with a classic shield on piano, where we defend the entry on the double doorway from. In kitchen you can place a shield on the counter, and if you open the wall between sides you can peek the dining doorway from it, or even the main breach. In wine cellar we have a shield on the table, so we can have a full cover that we can peek the wine doorway from. Of course, in wine cellar you can place a shield further away behind the pillar with a gap for an ADS, and you can have this pixel on the doorway. Very similar, but this time in blue. We've got this shield facing blue stairs with a pixel, of course. So when you're coming out of blue into snowmobile, you can have this shield so it gives you cover from the main breach, and you can pick attackers that try to execute from there or throw smokes or whatever. And in bar gaming you can have this shield on the table as your additional cover. And now on to Kafe Dostoyevski. We start off with a very common shield on so-called pixel or red suitcase. We can defend this area from people coming from cigar or the breached red wall or the ticket window. When attackers take control of piano, you can defend the doorway from behind the shield on white stairs. You can have these tight angles on the doorway, and just overall rotation from the stairs is a bit safer. We can have a shield on heaven, so we can have this pixel on the new balcony, and when we have this angle on the cigar door through the table, it's a bit safer to pick it. When we play downstairs, we can play behind this shield in VIP, so we defend the entry from white. We can have this shield facing small bakery, but this one requires a castle barricade behind you on the double door, and now you can safely peek the small bakery or even red stairs. On site we can have this elevated shield in service, so now we can peek the main breach in bakery from behind the shield, and if you're in kitchen and there's any attacker in freezer, they got the angle blocked on the double window. You can have an elevated shield in the kitchen itself, and it's up to you if you wanna face it towards prep or the bakery wall. And now we can move on to border, where we start off with the default shield in armory, where we can face it towards the main breach, and we leave a gap for any ADS of course, and we can have this little pixel. This one is interesting since you usually want to play somewhat in security to slow down the attackers, so you can have this shield on the table in security, and it's up to you where exactly you place it on the table. When you're playing bathroom teller's side, you usually want to have a shield towards the long hallway and then courtyard, so you can pick attackers from a long distance, and you can either place it in bathroom and have a rotation through the doorway, or you can place it outside the bathroom, so now you can peek the teller's window while still being covered by the shield. And in workshop we have another chance for an elevated shield. You can just place it on this table and you have some additional cover to peek the doorway from. The shield in customs is not extremely useful, but you can have this tight angle on the blue lobby, but the most interesting part is that it's so up high, it's probably the highest spot out of all possible ones. And it's time for Skyscraper, so we start off with a shield in office to be able to peek the window in connector between sides, and just place it deep enough so you can still move through the doorway. Right next to it we have a table which we can place our shield on, so now we can sort of open the wall towards bar, and we can peek the terrace from behind our shield. Switching to karaoke side, we have this shield facing the outside door, and next to it we have a rotate into karaoke, so we can always fall back. We can use the pixel between the reinforced wall and the shield. So let's say you want to hold the dragon area. You can use this shield in shrine, so you have this tight angle on the doorway, but be aware if someone's jumping in the window. Instead you can place a shield facing the window, and now when you play in dragon, behind the dragon statue, you can peek the doorway and you're covered from the window by the shield. On the other side we have the drum room, where we can use this shield on the upper part, and now it covers our entire body. We can peek from both sides of it, and yeah. But instead you can place your shield facing the holes in geisha, so you're a bit more protected when you want to peek the outside wall or the jump in on the double window in Geisha. And of course an elevated shield is possible in tea room on this table, so we can be covered from attackers entering the shrine doorway. You can use this one probably when you're defending bedroom bathroom, so you have some additional cover in reception. For the kitchen barbecue side, you have this shield in pantry which covers this long angle, and of course you can have this pixel on the external doorway. The barbecue itself has this table which allows us to place another elevated shield, which on this side is a very good cover. Coastline starts off with a very known shield in vase. Now you have those pixels on the hookah doorway, and most importantly, place the shield deep enough so you can still use the doorway to move through it. The billiards room has this, of course, billiards table where we can have an elevated shield on, and now we have some additional cover when we wanna fight with the aqua push. Whenever you're playing hookah side or kitchen, you probably wanna play in sunrise so to slow down the attackers, and now you can place a shield on top of the sunrise bar so you can be even better against the sunrise entry. On the kitchen side, of course, we cannot forget about the default shield in service by the rotate. The key part is you leave this little gap so you can have the pixel on the bathroom doorway. In penthouse you can have a pretty well-known shield facing the Hall of Fame door, but it's up to you whether you want to place it deep in theater, so now you can have pixels on the doorway, but if you place it in penthouse itself, you can rotate into penthouse while being covered, so it's up to you, just like on border. The other pretty good shield could go on the bed in penthouse, so you now have this only reliable cover from the double window. This time we're on theme park, and we can start off with this shield in throne room, where we place the shield on this little stage, I don't know, and we can have this pixel on the dragon doorway, but in general we're just protected from the dragon doorway when we wanna peek, like for example split. The other way to make ourselves comfortable around the throne, we can have a shield facing split, and if we place it far enough we can peek the dragon doorway. If you want to have even more shields in throne, you can place one on this green box next to the bomb chassis, so you can peek the dragon doorway from there. On the bunk taker side, this is a really good opportunity to place a shield in bunk, so we can hold the long hallway or the benches from there. From the other side we can have a shield by the arcade, so we can hold the upper arcade hallway. And if somehow you found yourself in lab storage, please don't play lab storage, you can have this shield facing the side window, and you can create this little pixel. Now you can safely rotate between sides. And now we're on villa, and we can have a shield on top of main stairs. So you obviously hold the entrance from outside the study. I'm a very big fan of this one. The shield goes on the billiards table, and now not only you can peek the doorway from behind the shield, but now the angle on vault from hallway is blocked. This one is kind of annoying to pull off, but you can have this shield in aviator on this little exhibition table, and now you have this cover you can peek the study doorway from, but when the push is from the top of red stairs you can do the same thing from the other side. This one is interesting. You can place a shield in study on top of this table, and now it blocks some of the line of sight from outside the window, but not all of it, most of it. And now you can play on top of main stairs, and you're able to peek the balcony entrance with a shotgun. When playing trophy statue side, of course very null shield in Astro. It's pretty self-explanatory. You can make this pixel on the bathroom, which is very good. And yeah. Okay, so this one in master bedroom is very tricky. You need to be extremely precise, but it's very helpful, so I'm gonna explain it exactly where to place it. So you need to find this little circle of flowers, of those leaves. Below them there's like those two flowers, and below it there's this little branch of leaves, and look for this bottom left leaf and try to like move around when always aiming at it. And when you're able to place the shield, place it exactly there when aiming at this exact leaf. And if you place it correctly, the shield entirely blocks the line of sight from outside on the doorway, so you can now peek the closet, for example. The kitchen dining side comes with an elevated shield as well, so now you have a bit more cover when people are coming from China. And in memorial you can place an elevated shield as well. I don't know when you'd use it, but you can place a shield on the piano in piano room. We're moving on to Outback now, and when we're playing laundry piano side, I would only come up with this shield in the long hallway, so I can peek the backstairs from behind the cover. And if I wanna move on to peeking red, I can do it when my back is covered. The green and red bedroom have a bit better shield spots. For example, in red we can place it on top of the bed, and we can peek the doorway from behind it, and our rotate into green is covered. Similar to red, we can place a shield on top of the bed in green bedroom. This time we can peek the reptile door from behind the shield, and the only catch here is that we can be sort of seen from the bathroom window. For the party office side, we can have this shield in this hallway facing games. It's up to you if you open the games wall, but if you place the shield far enough, you can peek into shark stairs or the red doorway. In office itself, we can place a shield on top of the table, so we now have elevated cover from the garage doorway. And if we're back downstairs, the kitchen side gives us a very nice elevated shield on top of the table, so we're covered from the doorway. And in mechanic, similar thing, an elevated shield, this time covers us from the garage double window. Now we're finally on your favorite map, which is Emerald Plains, and we start off with the admin office side, and we usually extend into meeting there, so we can have the shield on top of the table there. You can sort of deny the very default entry from the other side of the green hallway with a shield on top of the green stairs, so you can kind of stand and peek from behind the shield, and you can see if there's anyone on the window. In office itself, you can have a shield on top of the table. It's very situational since there's a window, but you know, I just love elevated shields. For the kitchen dining side, we have this very good shield in pantry. It in general covers the rotate much better, and we can contest the main breach, and we have this little pixel on the main wall. In kitchen, we are creating even more cover, so we can peek the fountain very comfortably. And remember, it works both ways. In dining, we have a lot of tables, so we can use that for another elevated shield. So if there's anyone coming from the bathroom hallway, we can have another big cover to pick them from. For the bar lounge side, we can play in pool with a shield on top of the pool table. So if they breach the main wall, we can slow down the push. In the bar itself, it's possible to place a shield on top of the bar counter, and we have some more cover from fountain then. Now we're on Stadium Bravo, and here nothing crazy, since this is border basically. We can have a similar shield just like on border facing the main wall, and we of course remember about the pixel. This one similar just like on Coastline's kitchen. we have a shield facing the service entrance. This one's a bit new. We can place a shield on top of this table. I don't actually remember if it's possible on Coastline, but now we can peek with a shotgun if there's anyone entering here. This one's a bit new as well. We have a bit more cover on our right side from the window comparing to a Coastline. So we can have the shield in kitchen and we can peek the doorway with those tight angles. When playing penthouse, we have this rotate on the triple wall, so the elevated shield on top of the bed gives us a really good cover from the outside window. And in server, just like on border, we can place a shield on this table, so we have some more cover from the doorway. Our last map is the new map right now, Nighthaven Labs. We start off with top floor and a shield in IT, so we can peek the main breach. We place the shield deep enough so we can still use the doorway to rotate around, and we can quickly run into servers if we need to fall back. In basement side, we can have this shield in tank. When we play right here, it's sort of elevated, and we can peek attackers in cargo with those tight angles. This one is okay as well. We can play with a shield in exosuit by the pillar, so we can defend the push from the stairs, and the pixel angle on the right makes it so much better. In storage we got those two tables where we can place our shield on. So one of those covers the rotate perfectly, and the other one gives us another good angle on the doorway. You can slightly extend towards lounge, so you can have this shield in this little hallway, and you can surprise attackers from there. And this is our last one today, in kitchen, so we can place it on the counter and gives us a bit more cover from the doorway, but most importantly we can create this little pixel angle on the doorway, which is basically a free kill. And that is all for this video. I hope you liked it. Let me know if any of those spots are helpful to you, and you can check my other gadgets for every ranked map on my channel. So see ya!